Hello guys, this is Mr. Surplus Not here, bringing a video on my AK-47 WASR 10 that I'm going to be refinishing this gun and also taking care of a few issues that WASR 10s are known for, and I'm going to let you guys know. Basically there's three things to look for when you purchase a WASR 10 AK. And one of the things is the trigger slap, magazine wobble, and canted front sight. Let's talk first about the trigger. These guns are imported by Century Arms International, and for now all the AKs that they're shipping out to different dealers, they are installing the Tapco G2 trigger, which it eliminates the trigger slap, which this one has, and it, by the way, has a very good trigger. This one is a lot lighter than other AKs that I've tried. I don't know why, but it came with a very nice trigger, and also the magazine wobble and the front canted sight. So this one I was able to get it with the G2 trigger, which, you know, I'm done with that. It's got no trigger slap at all, but it does have the magazine wobble that they're known for, which I'm going to be taking care of that, and I will talk to you guys about it a little bit on the second part of this video. And also the front canted front sight. This one has the two problems: the wobble magazine and the canted front sight, which is a little bit to the left. The ways to tell on these, if the canted front sight is really bad, just by holding the weapon like this and trying to look at it. I mean, once you do it, you'll be able to know what I'm talking about. You will be able to tell, and also by the muzzle end, by looking at it. When it's very little, the only way to tell is by shouldering the weapon and looking through the rear leaf sight, and you will not be able to find your post inside the front sight. So if you try to search for the post, you can find it, but then you're going to notice that you have your whole rifle in an angle, whether it's canted to the left or right. On this case, on mine, it's canted a little bit to the left hand side. So the way to take care of that is by removing the this one came with slanted muzzle brake. Some of them come with like this just like a ring in the front, but that is on the on your standard WASR 10 AK. This is the Romanian WASR 10/63, which comes with a slanted muzzle brake, and they're supposed to be a little better than your standard WASR 10. But anyways, you remove the slanted front muzzle brake here. And one thing to let you guys know, in the States here, when we tie a bolt or a nut, we tie to the right and we loose to the left. On this type of AKs, I guess Russia, Romania, wherever, they do it backwards. They tie to the left and they loose to the right. That's one thing to know, because you might get a wrench or whatever you're going to use to take one of these muzzle brakes out, and might ruin the barrel, whatever, the threads. So in this case, you push this little pin here that keeps the muzzle brake secured, and you loosen it again to the right. You're going to loosen it, and then once you remove that, there's two pins on the front sight. You take with a punch, you take those two pins out, and with some type of tool, I have a special tool which I'll be able to correct this without marrying the finish on the sight itself. You can use some WD-40, spray it on there, let it sit for a while. I use this spray called Croil, which is a lot better than WD-40. I spray it on, let it sit, and it works great. So I'll be able to make this front sight straight again by doing that. And then also the magazine wobble, I'll take care of that. And on my second video, I will tell you what I did to take care of that. And I will show you that it will not have the wobble that you see on the weapon right now. Another thing that these Romanians have sometimes is that the bolt, it catches and it gets stuck, but on this one it doesn't do that. It's got a very smooth bolt. These are things you can check for when you are ready to buy the weapon. The bolt, pull it back, let it go, it should just go real smooth. And this gun, since I purchased it, I haven't cleaned it. It still has Ghost Malign on it and stuff, and with all that, the bolt cycles really well. So I was pretty lucky, to be honest with you, just to, these are the things that sometimes you encounter when you purchase a Romanian AK-47 WASR 10, which is the trigger slap, which I will say basically all of them now, they're Sentry are installing the G2 tactical trigger, which is a very good trigger. So that's basically, I would count that out. But the other things will be your magazine wobble, and that's due because when they get imported into the country, they are allowed to get imported with the opening for a single stack magazine, which is a lot thinner than your double stack. So what Sentry does is that they open up the magazine well to be able to fit the double stack magazines. So when they do that, it wobbles like you see it. Also, the Romanians don't have the dimples on the side of the receiver, which also helps on keeping the magazine steady and eliminating the wobble. These don't have those dimples, and you're gonna get that wobble. But there's a way. You see the openings in here. I do some modification to the magazines. It came with two and they both wobble. So I cut this little thin piece of sheet metal and I modified into the magazine. I will show you guys how I do that. And then I start grinding it down to where I get a perfect fit where it won't wobble no more. On my second video I will show you how I did that. So and the canted front side, I will also be taking care of that. Actually, right after this video, I'm going to be working on this because since I purchased the rifle, I haven't really had time to work on it. I'm also going to be refinishing the wood. It comes bare like that, and also you can see these little nails, the heads of the little nails where I guess they put the laminated stock together. One thing I like to do on those before I refinish it, I like to glue them. So when you do your finish and you put your layers of polyurethane or whatever, tung oil, whatever you decide to doing it with, they don't show like that, like real bright and silver. So that's one thing. Right before you're ready to stain it, you want to go ahead and get like anything you can glue them with, and glue the heads of the nails, and they get really dark. I mean, you can barely tell after it's done. So I'm going to be refinishing the stock just so you guys can see it how it is now, as there's no finish on it. And also the front handguard, I will be doing that too. I'm going to be doing it with either Sonoma red or cherry red, something, and then I'm going to finish it with polyurethane spray. Also, I have the wood laminated hand grip, which I'm going to do also to match the stock. And also I was able to order a Bakelite magazine, which are really hard to find. You can get them, and they're made at the Tula factory. I think the one I have is the Tula, or the Ishvik factory. So things to look for, like I'm saying, let's count out the trigger issue, because they got the G2 tactical trigger now. But things to look for is the magazine wobble, the canted front sight, and also the bolt. Sometimes they get stuck at the back. On these Romanians, when you pull back, they don't stay at the end locked in. I know maybe Russian AKs, I know the Jugos, and other ones they do. but on the Romanians they don't. So one thing you want to do when you purchase one, get the bolt, cycle it a couple times, make sure it's nice and smooth. This one, like I'm saying, it still has Cosmoline, so it might even get even better. But right now it cycles really well, so the only two problems that I have with this AK right now is taking care of the wobbling magazine, the front canted front sight, and that's about it, because the trigger's got the tactical trigger. The bluing is really nice. Some of these also, when you buy them, you're gonna notice that it's got a little dings, but not dings like meaning like into the metal, but like I would say like light scratches. And also sometimes the barrel, I've seen some that the actual barrel on the Romanians 10, they're very crude, like they'll have like tooling marks, especially around the gas piston up here. So this one was really nice. It's nice and smooth. I like that on it. So, and those little light hair scratches, whatever, you can just retouch a little bit of bluing, oil it up really good, and it should come out really nice. These are very dependable, as good as any AK-47. It's just that they're like a little cheaper. I would say, like, I don't like to say the bottom end of AKs, but they are the cheapest. But that doesn't mean that they're not good. They are as reliable as any AK-47. And once you take care of these issues and you finish it, the wood on it, I like the way the laminated wood, the grains on the wood. So when they get finished really nice and you lay the polyurethane on it, I mean, you might end up with a very nice AK-47. I'm planning on changing the slanted muzzle brake, or I might not, I don't know. It's kind of like growing on me. So, and I heard the slanted ones, they work really well. So I don't know if I will or not. This is your traditional muzzle brake that they come with. I saw a review on different ones on YouTube, and because they were testing the slanted ones that they come with, and they reduce muzzle lift a little bit, and it stables the rifle pretty good for being your standard slanted cut muzzle brake. You can get the one I had on my other AK, which I sold that AK. That's why I purchased this one, because I've been missing it ever since. Is the I had purchased the bird cage, they call it, I think, muzzle brake. So I either might go with that one or keep this one. I also purchased the you can buy the recoil buffer, and that's pretty much about it. So I'm just kind of like getting ready right now to start working on this thing, taking care of the two issues, the wobbling on the magazine, the canted sight, and then I'm going to start prepping the stock, the wood, for refinishing. And I will be making a second video to this, showing you guys how I took care of the magazine wobble problem, the canted front sight, and also showing you the overall look of the weapon. One is completely done. This is the AK WASR 10/63, and I think you can see those, like the little hair scratches, like especially on the safety here. Like I'm saying, you can take care of that with any type of bluing. So this is the weapon right here. There's no finish on it, so you guys can see it, bare wood. This is how it looks, and I will be making a second video to this. So this is the AK-47 WASR 10.